Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Horror Classics with me, DJ. I'm glad you decided to join us once again in the Spencer Estate. We're heading to the final zone in this one, and where it might not be the end quite yet, there's lots of stuff to find. But before we go too far, in the last video I forgot to say that if you enjoyed the video I would really appreciate it if you gave it a like. If you would subscribe, that'd be pretty cool too, and comment if you would like to. But right off the cuff, we've got some stuff to grab around the mansion before we travel down to the next area. So the first thing I'm going to do is deposit all except for the basic handgun. We won't be needing much more for the majority of this segment. So let's go ahead and pick up all the stuff we gathered on our sweep through the mansion so far and get moving to the rest of the rooms we need in order to progress through the story. The first thing to note is on this more relaxed difficulty, since we didn't overuse the shortcut here at the very beginning, the doorknob has been repaired, which is just the weirdest thing. I mean, aren't they just going to burn this place down after this? But that's just my thoughts on it. The room we need to get to is literally right next to our save room, so it only should take a few minutes to get everything together to head to the next zone. At this point, there's really no threats left in the mansion, so it'll be a nice uneventful period as I move back and forth. This room was referenced earlier in one of George Trevor's journals, a room with organs in weird jars. There's a note here, which gives a little more information. Let's give it a read. There's something handwritten. It's not dated. Nothing's changed. I never thought this room I designed as an experiment would pay off like this. I can hide safely here for a while, because nobody knows about the secret door behind this painting. Not even Sir Spencer. Painting of a mansion in the back of the art room. So he hid something that might be of use to us in here. This is actually not the first time we've heard about this area, so why don't I explain the area and the journey of George Trevor, starting with the fact that he's the architect behind the Spencer Mansion, hired by Umbrella in order to set up this facility. Of course, Umbrella had no intentions of letting him leave with this extensive knowledge into the mansion itself, going so far as to throw him into an oubliette with his gravestone at the end. He tried his best to escape and came to this area because he knew of a secret room here, where he was able to hide until his unfortunate passing. That's about it in the nutshell. The puzzle here is a pretty simple one. Just gotta figure out where things slot into. The emblem doesn't even have to be straight up and down. As long as it fits, it opens. There's a brooch inside the jewelry box, and upon closer inspection we'll find out it's a key that bears the emblem of the Spencer family. the family that operates this estate and this facility. We have what we need now, so let's move on. While I move through this area, I just want to thank everybody that's been supporting me and leaving nice comments on my videos. I know I say this pretty often, but I have fun making these. So if you're just listening to me prattle on as I navigate, I just want to say I appreciate it. I try to put as much as I can into each one of these videos, and the support is always the highlight of my day. If you want to see anything in particular, feel free to let me know that too. I'm always willing to at least take a look and see if it's something that I think would be good for the channel. But let's get back to the action, after a quick trip to the box, I mean. And now we have everything we need in order to move on to the next area. It seems like this place is untouched. Are we the last people that will have stepped into the head honcho's office? No idea, but it does have something we need. The second half of the stone and metal object for the doors under the stairs. After quickly looting the room, let's move. We have everything ready, and we'll be able to stash our shells on the way even. Yeah, I wonder what's behind the door. And now it's going to ask us if we want to enter the doors. Well, there's nothing for it. So let's make our way back down under the mansion. If I had an ink ribbon, I could have saved here, and I was hoping I didn't misremember there being ribbons here. But we should be alright. There's nothing too dangerous down here, though that's not to say we're safe.
Jill, you're alive. I was worried, because I thought you were...
Start talking.
Calm down, I didn't want to do it. Believe me, I can explain.
Don't lie to me!
No time to talk. Jill, hand me my gun!
For this playthrough, I'm gonna trust Barry, because like I said in the previous episode, he has had some hang-ups about killing us or letting us die while he's around.
Thanks, Jill.
Lisa is no one to mess with. She's strong, but so is Barry's Magnum. Now in Lisa's journal, it said that she couldn't see Mother because of 4 stones. So now we'll push these stones while Barry covers us. I guess he appreciated us trusting him. So rather than just moving forward like I normally would, I am gonna head back to chat with him.
I don't believe that thing's really dead. Leave this place up to me, and go on ahead.
Okay.
Moving on, we find ourselves in a cut-off space from the main compound. There's a heavily decorated fountain here that's just begging for some of the things we've gathered around the mansion. First at the start with the piano puzzle, and then second from when we defeated Yawn in the library. Then we'll see one of my favorite parts in the game. Keep in mind, this may be upscaled, but it was still amazing to see these kinds of graphics even on the GameCube back in the day. Welcome to the final area of the game, where we will learn much more about what the goals of this facility were before it fell. Let's get started, firstly with a little save just because we're in a new area. We're likely gonna need to bring something a little bit bigger than a pistol. We've got some work to do before we reach the climactic end to this story. For right now, I'm just gonna juke and dodge when I can. I need to make sure my passage is safe through some of these halls. And now that we're loaded up with our assault shotgun, our pistol with way too many rounds, and a healing item, we can head on in to explore. Navigating our way down to have a look at the area, we'll find a puzzle room. And this one's a good one. I've always loved biology, and this puzzle isn't too much of a brain teaser, but it's fun all the same. The puzzle involving the X-rays is very on theme. Pulling the pictures of the body part up in order by organs is the colon, esophagus, liver, and large intestine, spelling out the word cell. And it looks like one of the researchers left a note here for someone. Let's give it a read. June 8th, 1998. My dearest Ada, by the time you read this letter, I will no longer be the person you once knew. The results of my test came out today, and as I suspected, it came out positive. I feel like I'm teetering on the edge of reason, just thinking about my impending doom. I would give anything not to have to become one of them. As far as I know, you're not infected. I sincerely hope things do not reach such a desperate pass, but if it has turned out that you are now the last remaining person alive, I want you to get the materials from the visual data room. Then activate the self-destruct system in the power room and escape from here. Please do everything in your power to make this whole accident public. If everything is still running normally, you should be able to release all the locks using the security system. I have set up the terminal in the small security room so that you can log into the system using my name and your name as the password. You will need another password to release the lock of the door in basement level 2, where the visual data room is located. As a safety measure, I have coded that password into an X-ray picture, a roentgenogram. I know you, and I'm sure you'll be able to work it out without any trouble. There is just one more thing, and it is my last request. I hope that you never have to lay eyes on me in this state, but if you do happen to run into me in my hideous form, I beg you to put me out of my misery. I hope you understand. Thank you, Ada. Yours truly, John. Well, that was an interesting look into what happened. This researcher named John was quite unfortunate to get caught up in this disaster of a facility, but at least like him, we can move on from this area. We have all we need from here. And where I might not remember where most of it is, once we get to the point where we need it, I can always consult my notes. Though, the one thing I can't forget is Cell, which will let us unlock more doors and open this place up a bit more. As we continue through, I come across a large door with switches next to it. I try to rack my brain and remember what was behind it, but I came up blank. I'm pretty sure it's important though, so we'll figure out where it leads eventually, I'm sure. For now though, it's a no-go. So let's continue to poke around. While we're here, let's secure this hallway. It will be important for later if my memory serves well. It actually takes a bit of focus, but I get really lucky being able to take off one of the zombies' heads with a shotgun. And the luckiest part is that with 2 shots of the handgun, the other zombie's head is gone. I'll take it. After that bit of business, we can open up some stuff, so let's go ahead and do that. We know that John had left a message for Ada, who was apparently his new girlfriend. He left her instructions to log in using his name and her name, and if we recall, Cell was the code. So let's get that plugged in before we read the document on the table. And now let's see that file. V-Act. Researcher's note. There is no evidence that when the host loses consciousness, the body goes into a dormant state. During this time, the virus becomes active and rapidly transforms and reconstructs the basic composition of the body. The host eventually mutated into a humanoid creature. We call them V-Acts. Its speed and amazing muscular development are particularly noteworthy. After transformation, it becomes much more agile and aggressive. Already 4 of our researchers have died from trying to feed it, turning the place into an instant bloodbath. Ever since that tragic and barbaric accident, we have decided to call its kind Crimson Hits. That dangerous and precious prototype specimen can't be left there. We have to figure out a way to deal with it. Termination is definitely not an option. We finally decided to freeze the specimen and confine the body inside the basement of the backyard cemetery. Well, there's nothing more for us left in this room, so it's time to move on. The video is running a bit long, and I'm running out of time for this episode. But there are just a few more things I want to show you about the laboratory we have found ourselves in. This room is an important one. I'm going to have to take a minute to refresh my memory on this room before leaving. However, after dispatching a zombie, we find a fax, and it's an important one. 2. Sanitation Division. Attention, Manager of Sanitation. From Raccoon Disaster Contingency Committee. The contents of this fax are confidential and intended only for the named addressee only. Any copying or disclosure of the contents of this fax to any third party is strictly forbidden by the sender. After reading the contents of this fax, it must be destroyed immediately. We expect a significant increase in the damage done by the recent T-virus outbreak than originally estimated. There are several concerns. First concern, more than half of the researchers have been infected by the T-virus and died. It has also been reported that almost all of the survivors of this accident are starting to show symptoms of the T-virus infection. Second concern, our secret security patrol team has also been completely eradicated. Therefore, our most secret research is in danger of public disclosure. quick actions are demanded to prevent mass media coverage. Third concern, there's a high possibility that most of the specimens are running loose inside the compound. We expect many casualties to follow. However, yet unfortunate, these casualties underscore the success of our research results. Actions must be taken to prevent our research results from being made public. We suspect the first official intervention will come from the state police and STARS. We strongly recommend taking measures against them first. Before we leave, I am going to take a minute to refresh my memory on this room. It's an important one, and has told us much more behind this incident. It's not very pretty. The company seems pleased with the results, but this could already lead to a massive outbreak from just the infection vectors alone. This situation is a bit more serious at this point. We can't really leave stuff in this mansion around, considering the zombies do have a tendency to stand back up unless they lose their heads or are burned. The only other thing in this room is a reel and a refueling device, and that's good to know. But for now, we can move on. This room does have something we need. However, there are a couple of things I would like to show off. I thought that this might be the spot for the reel, but it turns out there was already one in it. Maybe if I had clicked it a second time, it might have prompted me to take it out. But this video is already a little long already. So I'm just going to leave it in and share with you the official names of the various monsters we have encountered along the way. After this though, I'm just gonna grab what we need and head back to the safe room. But we're already over time for today. The next time we play, we will likely finish up the game. For now though, I just want to thank you all for watching. If you're still watching, wow, you're awesome, and you have my sincere gratitude. While I have you for a minute, why not go ahead and subscribe? It's free and it really does help the channel. But other than that, tune in next time for the thrilling conclusion of Resident Evil 1 Remake, a true horror classic with me, DJ.